Emotions running free. Emotions emotions running free. Emotions run. Some mind don't understand. Emotions running.
Hi, welcome back to my channel. And you probably seen my first episode, and this is the second episode. By the end of the second episode, you get to know 7 things that you should not say in interview. Now, job interview for the first time, it could be very, very scary. And it could be one of those things where you are feeling very nervous and you don't know what to say and what are the questions going to come up in that interview. Well, if you watch the video until the end, you will know not what to say, because if you said the right thing, you'll probably get more engaged and you'll probably sell and brand yourself a lot more. But if you say the wrong thing, it could be the end of the interview. So let's get going. All right. Few fact before we go. It is said that 33% of hiring managers decide within the first 90 seconds. Let me repeat that one more time. 90 seconds of an interview whether they will hire someone. So it's crucial. Let's go for the first one. Here it is. Number one, avoid saying I'm looking for any job I can get. I think if you say these kind of along the sentence like this, it's like telling the person who's interviewing you that you're very desperate for a job and you're really looking for it and you really want it. Now, don't get me wrong. I know you're saying, but I am looking for that job and I'm very desperate. Yeah, but you don't have to show it. The more you show that you're looking for a job, the more it decreases your value. I mean, look at it this way. If a company sees you and you're desperate for a job, that means you're willing to do anything. When you're willing to do anything, it only means a couple of things for the interviewer. It means that as long as you pass the interview and you're in and you get that salary job for every month, that is it. But they don't look for that. Some companies, they look for purpose. Some company, they look at your values. Some company, they look at the skills that you have. So don't be desperate. Or you can say another thing. You can say, I'm excited about this role because it's aligned with my skills and career and goals. That way they know that you have a value. You're someone of important, that you don't take jobs unless it's close to your value. Number two, avoid saying, I don't know much about your company. If you're going to an interview, the least you can do is search up the company first before you go in. Because when you say, I don't know much about the company, it shows one thing. Number one, you don't really care about the company. Number two, you don't care what they do. Number three, you don't put time and effort enough to search before you come for the interview. I mean, it's not a plus point if I'm the interviewer and I see someone and say, can you tell me about your company? Because I don't know about your company. I would be saying, hey, you came here for an interview. You should have searched us online. I mean, we're everywhere in Google. How come you didn't take the time to do it? Now, what you can do, rather than you say that, you can say, I've researched your company and I'm really impressed with. And you can mention their values, or you can mention their mission and vision, or you can actually mention the things they just recently did in the company. Most companies have a charity event. Most companies have an event that they do yearly. And if you see that online, why don't you mention it? I mean, it really shows that you took your time, your great effort to know about the company a lot more. Number three, here it is. Um, Avoid saying my greatest weakness is that I work too hard. Now. Before you really, put comments here in my video and say, if someone's work hard, wouldn't they? Isn't it a plus point where there's just there's just some things when you say you work too hard. Your greatest weakness is that you work too hard. I mean, a lot of companies want you to work hard, but at the same time, many companies want you to work not hard, but smart. I think that's the key. In 2024 to 2025, I've been telling all of my students in training that when you go abroad to go to university, I mean, in Asia currently, when you go to university, they still look at your grades. And when they see the grades is good, they know you're a hard worker. But if you're abroad, and if you've ever been abroad in university, you know before you do the interview, they would ask you, what is your experience? What have you done for the last 4 years or 3 years in high school or in a university? Are you inside any organization, or have you been leading, managing a team of, uh, I don't know, a team of classroom, or a team of a group of community, or they're looking for that. So if you're going to an interview and say your greatest weakness is working too hard, I know it seems for you to be a plus point, but for them, it's like, it's one of those things. So what you can do? Well, you can always say in every interview, I'm working on improving, and you say a set of skills, and here's how I'm addressing it. And you should, so example, if you're gonna say, I'm working on improving my communication skills, and this is one of the ways in your company that I can communicate a lot more with other teams and cross division. And that seems like a very plus point for the company. Why? You're hiring someone who's willing to put value inside the company and actually contribute a lot more. Here it is. Number 4, avoid saying, what does my role even mean? So when they give you a role, or when they tell you your job scope in the company and on that interview, yeah, I hope you don't ask back, and what are you supposed to do? Because when you ask back, what are you supposed to do? I mean, it's not that, it's not that you're not supposed to know, but when you ask what you're supposed to, I mean, at the end of the day, you can always search every job scope and every job task out there in a company. You can always search it, or maybe you just wait until the interview is done, and then he accept you, or whether he says, I will call you in 2 days time, and you go home and you search it online, or you ask a friend that way. So when you ask back questions to the person, and the person might say, number 1, you're not completely, it's a yes for you to pass the interview. You get what I mean? It's not really that they're taking you as a staff, or you're not joining on board yet, but you're already asking about your job scope and what you need to do. So just hold it for a little while. You can ask a lot more when you're 1 day, 2 days inside that job with other people around you, or by just looking and seeing, you'll get to know. So rather than you say that, you can actually say, how does this role contribute to the company's long-term goals? So I need you to bring it back to the company itself. So every time I'm suggesting you to say things, you'd know that all of my sentences are always, it's a question, or it's a statement, or it's a phrase where it's always about the company. Number 5, avoid saying, how much time do I get off? I know you might be laughing at this moment, but I'm just telling you, a lot of people in a job interview, they ask this a lot. How much time do I get off? And what is my vacation time? And in 1 year, how much time do I get to go on holidays? You're just in the interview. You haven't gone for 6 months. You're not even there for 2 months. So just hold it before you say all those things. Because when you say these things, I know it's information for you, but for the interviewer, it's a feeling that, oh, when you go in, you just want to work that hard. And then at the end, you're just looking for that vacation off. I know this question, it's not a bad question actually, but it's not a question that you ask on the first time you interview. So instead of saying that, you can say, can you tell me more about the work-life balance and overall culture here? So that way, you're asking about the company again, about their culture, your overall culture, habit, what they do in the company. At the same time, you're also putting in that small phrase where work-life balance was in your question. It just sounds better. Number 6, I'm almost done, so hold it. Avoid saying, I left my last job because my manager was terrible. You don't want to say bad things about the last company, because it shows you one thing. If they hire you and you don't fit for the job and they let you go, and you will say bad things about that company. So it's the same thing. It's like a domino effect. So avoid saying those kind of things. Number 1, it doesn't look good on you. Number 2, you know that you're someone who they know that you're someone that complains quite a lot. Number 3, they know that when things happen, you blame it on other people and the things around you. So instead of saying that, you can say, I'm looking for an environment where I can grow and contribute more effectively. You notice how my sentence is always bringing back to the company and always an advantage to the company. That way, your interviewer will feel that, oh, you really care and you really want to be here. Last, number 7, you avoid saying, how quickly can I get promoted? Now, I know this question is a great question to ask because you want to know your career path and your journey. And again, at the same time, it's not the time for you to ask this because it's on your first interview. You can always ask this along the way and maybe on your third interview. Or if it was for me, I can tell you right off the bat, I wouldn't ask it on my first interview. I would ask it the moment I come in or I've been there for about a week or 2 weeks. That way, it's easier. And if you ask people around you, they will probably tell you. So instead of saying that, you can say, what opportunities for growth and development are available in this role? So in that question alone, it's asking the interviewer that, you know, have you been investing on the people in your company, and yeah, are you giving certification, or are you letting people grow and learn a lot in your company? That way, you'll know a little bit about the company itself. And that is the 7 things that you shouldn't say on an interview. I know it gets really tough on the first interview, but if you know what not to say and you just focus on your outcome, I'm sure everything will go well. You can do it. I'll see you next time. Peace out.